I would say it's the most devastating moment of my life, that phone call. I asked, is it? And she says, I am HIV positive. I was diagnosed.
Look, I'm the first to admit I'm a statistic that shouldn't happen.
I pretty much felt like my life ended there and then. I pretty much felt like nothing. I had nothing to live for.
We really are educated enough, and there is enough conversation out there that we know better. We know to be tested often, regularly, and before you start a new relationship. We know all that, but I guess it does really get lost, and it really got lost on me.
I always got tested. I thought it was something everyone did. It had never crossed my mind. I knew it existed. It was just a thing that it was more in the past. And I knew people had it, but I never had met someone who had it. I just never thought it could occur to someone like me. You know, I was like fit, healthy.
In 1996, I was world champion. In 1998, I set a world record. And in 2000, which is probably what I'm best known for, is I got a silver medal at the Sydney Games. And the partner that I had at the time came home and he told me that he'd returned a positive test. Well, what immediately went through my head was, is he okay? And then, of course, within probably the same breath in my head was, oh, this is going to be pretty bad news for me.
I had literally never met a single other person who was HIV positive. I think that's why I felt so devastated. I was like alone, I knew no one. I didn't think anyone had it that I slept with. It's just not something that was ever came up in my life until that very moment.
Because if we had have known our statuses, then the result would have been different. And I'm sure there's many stories like that.
I called my previous partners who I've been with. I was like, no, they have to know, because it was such a shock to me. I was like, it's probably a shock to them. I called them all up. I told them all to get tested. Some were worried because some of them had never been tested before, which at the time made me quite angry because it was like, I always got tested. I thought it was something everyone did.
We had a brief discussion at the beginning of our relationship of, are you okay? Yeah, are you okay? Yeah, and that was it.
I knew as a young person, especially someone who was sexually active, that you get tested. I thought everyone did. It was just like an unspoken truth, I thought.
I met Sean on Bondi just over 2 years ago, and my life has never been the same since.
It was an instant connection and something that I read about, believed in, but didn't know if it actually happened in real life. But it does.
Chemistry was electric.
Sparks, goosebumps still fly. A crazy meeting with an amazing man. I can very vividly remember him walking towards the car and was actually sitting there quite nervous.
And I sat half on the seat, one leg in, one leg out. So whether he wanted to, it was great, I could get in. If he didn't want to, it was great, I could get out. And I said to him, look, there's something I need to tell you.
When I decided to disclose to my father, that was quite emotional. The big deal was I actually hadn't even came out to my father before. Dinner with my dad, I was like, I'm gay, and that's not even the big news, you know. And then I had to say, I've also HIV positive.
He got in the car and actually said, I've got something to tell you.
And Sean says to me now that he said, I thought you were going to be an ass.
And I just figured, typical guy, got a boyfriend at home and he's just up for a bit of fun. And actually said, I'm HIV positive. I said, oh, no drama.
He took the gay thing kind of well. He's like, I kind of guessed. He's like, I remember when you were young and you didn't know how to delete your internet history. And he knew about HIV, so he knew what it was. Just knowing that my dad didn't even care, it wasn't a shock. He just cared how I was feeling was the best I could have ever hoped for, yeah.
Well, the reason why I wanted to go on medication is because it just lowers the viral load and it lowers my infectiousness. So it really does take out the fear of giving it to my partner.
Him having a HIV does not affect our sex life in any way, shape or form. Look at the guy. How could you not?
Since then, I've met several other guys. I've been in relationships with a few of them who are HIV negative and perfectly comfortable with me being HIV positive.
In the gay community and the wider community, there's a concerning upswing in new infections. So clearly something is amiss. Some people think, oh, it won't happen to me.
There's this stupid mythology in that, if we're 20, we're with people who are in their 20s, we're not going to catch it. We're invincible. It's not part of our generation. It's part of the 80s.
If I was doing the right thing and getting tested regularly and getting tested before each new relationship, my situation wouldn't happen.
Being HIV positive, and there's that stigma, but I'm just like, there should be like more of a stigma to people, who don't get tested, because I would say that's the big shock value, I thought. My main motivation for being in this would be, especially for HIV negative people, young guys just like me, is that you can catch HIV, you're not immune to it, get tested regularly, know the risks that you're getting into, and last but probably most important is if you do unfortunately get HIV and you're positive, realize you're not alone and it's not a death sentence. It's not the end of the world.
You don't want HIV, but if you do have it or find yourself with a positive test, it's okay. Life goes on.
You need to know your status. Man, woman, adult, active sexual adult. Know your status.